Hello, my name is Troy Cronin. I'm a double amputee that also has some amputations of the upper extremity. I have 3 fingers and a few partial fingers, and I work in the prosthetics and orthotics industry. I'm currently a resident, so I adapt a lot of the tools that I use in the profession so that I can create devices for other amputees or other people with functional impairments. So one of the ways that I adapt my equipment for the tape measure, whenever I'm doing a measure of a patient, I have this hook I added to the tape measure so that I don't have to hold each end. I can just tighten and have the measurement available, which has made it a lot easier for me to measure patients. And when in this industry, it has to be very specific. So if you're off by a third of an inch, that can make a big difference in the patient's fit. So having this secure and easily accessible to me allows me to give my patients better outcomes. Additionally, we use a lot of tools at my work. So when we're using, there's a machine called a Troutman, which is almost like a Dremel. It's a spinning tool that we use to grind down foam, and usually put the foam on your hand and you grind it down to the thickness that you need. But with the shape of my hand, it can be tricky. So I use a piece of polypropylene plastic that I put on my hand, and I Velcro it around the back so that I can easily taper the foam in a way that is going to be best for the device that I'm fitting it to. Other things I do in my work, I'll just set up my workstation in a way that caters to me. Sometimes I'll have to do minor adaptations to tools, and it's a lot of, it takes innovation, just creativity in the moment. I also play several sports. I'm a runner, and I also play adaptive hockey called sled hockey. So sled hockey is a sport that is just like hockey. However, you use a stick that is about 75 centimeters with picks on the end, and you have to be able to hold the sticks bilaterally. So I have this device. This is a prosthetic socket that is mounted on to this stick, and then it has a BOA system that I can easily adjust, and it'll tighten circumferentially to fit onto my hand and allow me to have motion and still be able to suspend on my hand and do all the tasks that I need it to. It's also adjustable here. If I need to change the height of my stick, I can do so. And this device was 3D printed using scanning technology. So that customization is really important, I feel, for upper extremity, because a lot of tasks of the upper extremity require really unique grasp patterns or motions. So being able to adjust it based on which team I'm playing. If I need to go a little bit faster, then I'll go a little higher on the stick. If I need to be able to do a little more passing work, then I can go lower. So that's what I use for hockey, and this is a lot better than the other device I used, which was mostly taped together and just taped to the stick, which would cause a lot of abrasion to my hands. Here's another, this is called like a flexible inner that goes inside of a prosthesis. This is a prototype that I'm working with to try to figure out different ways that I can implement prosthetic attachments. So basically, we'll fit a hard shell called a socket around this flexible inner, and then we can attach different attachments depending on the activity that I'm doing. So if I'm lifting weights, there's an attachment that will hook on to the weight. If I want to play lacrosse, there's a different attachment that can spin or if I need to add an attachment for a device at work, like if I'm holding a saw, or if I'm modifying plaster molds, then I can have different attachments for that. So that's an advantage of having a device like this with a quick change wrist, is that customability based on what your task is. Growing up, I didn't use a lot of upper extremity prostheses because I was always able to accomplish tasks just with the digits that I have. I have pretty good dexterity, and I've been able to adapt to different tasks. But in this unique workforce with high demand of different motions and dexterity that you have to have, I've had to be able to adapt. And working in the prosthetics industry, I've been able to find out about more technology that's available, whereas there's not a lot of knowledge to your everyday person that isn't heavily immersed in the field. It's something that takes a lot of expertise to really find out what's going to work for you, and a lot of patients don't always stick with it because they're able to do it without an adaptation. But for me, having these adaptations allows me to be more functional, not only in sports, but in work. And so for me, that's the extent to which I use upper extremity prostheses. But and hopefully as I go throughout my career, I'll come up with more technology, and as more things get invented, it should be easier for upper extremity amputees everywhere.